everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Emily if you are new, and today I'm going to be sharing with you Kirkland spring and Easter decor dupes using products from the Dollar Tree. I really like the way these projects came out. You'll have to let me know which one is your favorite down in the comments below. And if you enjoy these style of videos, please be sure to give them a thumbs up and share them with your friends. If you haven't done so, hit that subscribe button if you feel like it. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, for this DIY, you are going to want these glittered balls. I picked them up in the 3 different colors, and then you're going to want a grapevine wreath from Dollar Tree. I went ahead and just plucked off all of the little ball stems and then also a couple of the leaves. They look more like flowers, but they are considered the leaves of this floral bundle here. And I went ahead and just put 4 of them on. You can do however many you want. In the end, I ended up adding a little bit extra. So after I kind of just glued the ball clumps onto the wreath, I realized they're just a little bit too bulky, so I just cut those down kind of in half. So some of them would have 2, some would have 3 on them, and then I just alternated the colors and just glued those onto the grapevine wreath and mixing those all the way around. You're going to want to pick up these metal words. They come in a 3-pack, say Happy Easter and Blessings. You can choose whatever words you want. I am using the end of a floral pick here. It's just wired. You can use a wooden dowel if you like, or you can connect the words to the wreath by just stringing some floral wire in between and stretching that to each side. But I thought it worked really well using this, and I didn't mind that it was brown like the wreath. So you can do whatever you like, but I think this turned out really good for our first dupe from Kirklands, especially since all the products I use are from the Dollar Tree. I think it turned out really good. For the next one, you're going to want a brown grapevine wreath. I didn't have one, so I used the light colored one. You're actually going to want 2 of those. I didn't have them, so I'm improvising here, and I think that a lot of you might like this trick as well. So again, you can use what you want. You can also use sticks for this step. I know it sounds kind of weird, but you'll understand here in a minute. I am trimming off this loose garland, basically trimming it down, basically like a lawnmower. That's what I felt like I was doing. I was trimming grass, basically, but you know, I trimmed that down, and this is about almost 2 feet in length. And then I'm just going to make the first loop, and then I'm going to make another loop, and these are actually going to be ears. So when you get the size that you want, you're just going to twist the wire around, and you're going to do the same thing for the other part. And then if you have any excess, you can just simply cut that off, no biggie. But if you were using sticks, you'd want them to be the shape of bunny ears for this project. So hopefully that gives you kind of an idea of what we're making here. And since my grapevine wreath was not brown, I wanted to look brown, so I just took some paint and whisked that over that, and then also on the greenery I added brown. I think for this step it'd be better just to use brown spray paint and spray the whole thing. I didn't have any brown, I had black and white, so I used what I had on hand. So you can do the same thing here. I went ahead and glued the ears on, and then I'm taking a little bit of that green floral wire here, and I'm just going to tie the ears on because they are a little bit floppy, and I wanted to make sure that they would not go anywhere. So once you have that and it's dried, now you're going to take some of this greenery off of this floral pick that Dollar Tree carries. I thought it was perfect, and it looks just like the picture. And so I'm going to be using this boxwood that's actually from Walmart, but it's only 97 cents for a sprig of it. And I had this in my pile. Dollar Tree does have 3 new types of greenery, so be on the lookout for those at your store that are very similar to the boxwood. So now I am just gluing that down and kind of interweaving it just a little bit into the grapevine wreath here. And again, you can use whatever size wreath that you want for this. So if you prefer a really large one, you can use that as well. And now I'm just taking those boxwood pieces and I'm gluing those in as well, just alternating them in throughout and everything. And it's really not complicated. You're just going to want to intertwine them a little bit so it looks nice and natural. And then for the next part, you're going to take whatever color flower you desire. I'm taking these really light pink ones that Dollar Tree has, and I'm going to use a couple of the leaves that are on the stem as well. And then I'm going to glue down the flower onto there. And you can use a couple if you want to. You can just use one, but I think it looks good with just a couple of the bigger. They're not roses, they're a mix of a peony and something else. I don't know what these ones are. I didn't look at the tag before I got rid of it, so sorry. I'm adding in a couple white lilacs here just for a little bit added pizzazz to the wreath. And then just kind of placing a couple of those around the pink florals. And again, you can use whatever color scheme you're going for in your house for spring and Easter. But I absolutely love the way this DIY turned out. I think it's my favorite out of all of them I created today, and I think it's spot on. Besides the ears being made out of that, I would definitely suggest using another grapevine wreath and soaking it in water to get the ear shape, or using the sticks. And then I decided to remove all of that and take one of the bunnies off of the Dollar Tree signs and add that to the middle and flip it upside down, and I think this is really adorable too. For the next project, you're going to want one of these baskets that Dollar Tree carries. This is the larger one. They come in a couple different colors. I'm using my wire cutters, but you can use scissors for this, and you're just going to trim at the very base of the basket just so you get the top of it off, or basically the bottom. I'm going in with my Rust-Oleum gold spray paint, and I'm spraying this down. Let that dry and air out for a little bit, and once that is, then you can take some of the flowers of your choice, whatever color scheme you're going for. These are the colors that were used in the Kirkland product, so I'm using some boxwood, some lilacs here, a couple I think lilies, and then there aren't tulips, or called something else with a C, like a croquette or something. I know I'm not pronouncing that wrong, so I'm going to pluck off the flowers and a couple of the leaves, and I'm going to start layering those on the bottom and just using my glue here to adhere them. And with this, you just want to kind of layer the pieces in. So I'm using a little bit of boxwood in there, and then a couple of the other longer stems. Use whatever you have on hand, and if you don't have any of the boxwood, just use whatever comes with the florals. That way you don't have to double buy. Again, this is just in my stash. So the blue is really pretty though. I'm not typically a blue floral person, but the project that we're duping from Kirklands has blue, and I think it's really pretty. You can see that I'm using a couple different shades of green in this that creates a little bit more depth. I'm adding in these kind of greenish white flowers, and then I'm using another shade of blue floral in here. So if you decide to go with pink, choose two different flowers in that similar pink shade that are just slightly different. It will create a lot more interest for your project as well. Once you get all your florals on, then you're going to want to use some wooden letters. Dollar Tree carries a couple different styles and sizes of these. I thought the smaller ones worked better. Or you could use adhesive letters. Pick out your letters that you're going to use, paint them first, and then glue them on. I glued mine on and then realized they blended in too much, and then used the stain from Waverly to color them. But this is the way the project turned out, and I think it looks really, really good. I know we use slightly different florals, and I know the background is different too, but that's the closest thing I could find at Dollar Tree, and I know the font's a little bit different, but still, I think the end result is pretty good, especially for the price. For the next project, you're going to want this sign. They have these at Dollar Tree in a couple different styles. I'm just flipping mine over and using the back of it, and I'm going in with that Waverly stain paint here, and I'm going to stain the bottom portion of this, which is basically the second tier, and you're going to spread that out on there. You can use stain if you want to, and then I'm also going to trim off the edges here because I noticed in my project that I'm making that it's curved, so I just use my wire cutters and shave that off, and then go ahead and take some sandpaper to smooth it out. You should do this before you start painting. I didn't realize this until after I was painting, as you can tell. So then I'm going in with some white paint here, and I'm just going to spread that all the way up the third tier. Now, the project that we are making, the bottom tier is actually white with blue writing, but I decided to leave it blue because I thought it was really pretty. So you can choose how you want to make this, customize the colors to fit your home decor style. So I was trying to use this heart to create some feet in an egg shape form, but it didn't work. So I just went ahead and passed on that idea. Next, I'm taking some burlap and I'm going to flip that over, and we're going to cut that down, and you're going to have that folded over, and you're going to cut ear shapes out of this. So basically longer ovals is what you're looking for. And then you're going to want to take your hot glue and add that, and then go ahead and close that. You can just do one layer, but two stands up better, and I think it looks a lot better too. So just make 2 of those. Now I am going in with my chalk pen that Dollar Tree carries, and I'm just writing out the word happy here. And I did this in the chalk so that I could then go back with my paint and get that in, because my paint pen wasn't working. So I got to get a new white paint pen. Once you get that on there, go ahead and take one of those metal words. I'm going to add some hot glue. You're actually going to want to use E6000 if you want that to be a permanent hold. And you're going to press that on to the bottom. Now I wanted to show you a little bit of what I was working in, a little bit behind the scenes of my craft mess. I'm a messy crafter, I will say that. I took this egg that comes on a stick at Dollar Tree, and I decided to cut the egg in half. I actually thought it was foam, but it's not. It was hollow in the middle, and it was a perfect shape. So I went ahead and painted it all white, and I did that for both pieces. And then you're going to want to take those and glue those on, add a little bead of glue all the way around, and then glue those on so that they kind of act as feet for the sign. And after doing this and painting on the pink, it was way too bold, and I did not like it at all. So I decided to modify this because I didn't like the way it was looking. So I took a book page, and then I folded that in half and cut an oval shape out of it, so basically an egg shape, to replace those ugly looking feet and to make it fit more of my style of home decor. So I plucked those little feet off. They come off fairly easy, but I needed to repaint a little bit because the hot glue takes off a little bit of that paint. No biggie, just readjust and apply that. And then you're going to hot glue the book pages onto where you had the feet originally, and then you're going to want to take a little bit of some twine, and I went ahead and wrapped that around the edge of the book pages just so it stood out a little bit, and I think it looks really cute. So just added a bead of glue there and hot glued that all the way down, and then I also added a trim around the ears just to highlight them a little bit better, and then I glued on a little tail onto it, and this is the way it turned out, and I think it's super cute. I know it's slightly different, but overall I really like the way it turned out. For the next project, you're going to want a piece of wood. I am using this scrap piece of wood that I had left over. I'm also going to be using this slightly smaller Dollar Tree sign, and I wanted it for the back of it. So you can get 2 different signs from Dollar Tree if you want. I'm also using this leftover truck from Christmas time. Dollar Tree does have an Easter sign this year that but my stores haven't put out Easter yet, so I am working with what I have on hand. I ripped off the tree on the back, and I'm going in with this dark gray color for the tree, or for the truck, and I'm going to paint pretty much the entire truck as well as the wheel wells, except for the wheels themselves. Those will be white to mimic the picture that we're doing here. Now I'm taking that Dollar Tree sign and I am putting on white paint. I would recommend not putting your paint on in a squiggly line because I actually had to go back and put another coat on to get rid of that. So make sure that you brush your paint on in the direction that you want it to go, and avoid the mistakes I made here. I also just took that little bit of gray and made basically like a shiplap look to this. You can use a Sharpie for a more straight line. I just kind of roughed mine in because that's the way the sign looks. I took some regular glue. You could use Mod Podge, spread that on the base of your larger wood sign, and I'm using this fabric I had left over, which was perfect. This is from Joann's. It's really inexpensive, but Dollar Tree does have a larger print of this in the scarves, so if you want to try that out, you can too. But I always like to work with what I have on hand. And I'm just trimming off the edges here, and now I'm going to glue down the white shiplap sign on top of this, and You'll just want to center that. You'll have a little bit of gap in between. Now you can go however large or small you want for this sign. That's the beauty of doing DIY. You can customize it for your decor needs. I'm also taking some of the wooden letters that Dollar Tree has, and I'm going on them with that gray color that we used earlier. And I'm going to let those dry. Now I'm just using my Sharpie to freehand locally grown, and I was doing really good, and then it slightly got a little bit smaller as I kept going. So you can always use adhesive letters for this as well. Go ahead and glue on your wood truck, basically right in the middle. And then you're going to take those wooden letters, and I actually had to cut mine down just a little bit, the little frilly parts on them, that way the whole thing would fit. These were, I guess, a little bit larger than I expected them to be, but again, Dollar Tree carries 2 different sizes of these, so just work with what you have. Dollar Tree carries these really cute carrots in like a 6-pack, I believe, and so I had whitewashed one last year and I decided to use that. I just broke it in half on accident, but that was actually better, so it shortened it, and then I cut one half in half. That way it was flat on one side and rounded on the other. So I just went ahead and glued that down, and then any of the leftover twine, I just had to re-glue that down since it was wrapped around the original carrot. That way it would stay in place. And I ended up putting 3 of those on in a couple different sizes, but I only used 1 carrot for the entire thing. So 1 carrot will give you 4 pieces if you cut it in half and then in half again. And then you're just going to take a little bit of that greenery and you can chop it down, that way it doesn't get in the way of your patch writing there. And to finish off this sign, you're going to want to add some wood trim, or you could use rope from the Dollar Tree like I am doing and just hot gluing that on to give it a really cute look. This project turned out awesome. I love the way it looks. I think it looks spot on besides the truck facing the wrong direction. But you'll have to let me know which one is your favorite. Please be sure to give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and if you want more decor dupes, I have more listed in the description box below, or you can click here on the screen. I hope you all have an amazing day. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.